I know this won't come as a surprise to anyone, but it sure is hilarious to see. CNN has lost 90% of their viewers over the last year in their key demographic of 18 to 49-year-olds, and approximately 80% of their total viewers, and they're barely averaging 500,000 viewers a show. I don't mean to brag or anything, so just for comparison's sake, my videos average over 250,000 views, and I'm just a guy in my kitchen on a laptop. A lot of people wonder how much longer CNN could possibly stay on air at this rate, but you're underestimating the amount of stupid people out there who will tune in to watch their fake news. In fact, Maury Povich is still recording new episodes 5 days a week of his show about who is the father. But here they are completely unaware of how they've ruined the CNN brand and their reputations, and they can't figure out why nobody's tuning in anymore.
Here's a big overly broad question for you, okay? Is the media at this point out of touch with the public about COVID?
I think it's hard to argue that, the media is a large group of people, but a lot of the media does seem, when I look at it and then travel the country, to be very out of touch with people. I mean, if you travel the country, people are not really living in the same bubble that it seems that most of the media is messaging toward. And so I think this is an issue, because if people are tuning out what's going on in cable news, if we're not messaging toward the general population, then they're just ignoring everything and living their lives, and we're not really getting the information that they need to them.
People need CNN. They need CNN like they need cancer. Every once in a while, Jake Tapeworm remembers that at one point in his life, he aspired to be a journalist before ending up at CNN. And he finally figured out that they've been, let's just say, deceptively reporting on the COVID positive cases for people that are in hospitals with COVID, not from COVID. And he's quite upset about this.
If 40% in some hospitals, 40% of the people who have COVID don't necessarily have problematic COVID. They're there because they got in a car accident. They're there because, they bumped their head. And they're being included as in the hospital with COVID. That number seems kind of misleading.
Yes, Jake, those figures you've been reporting for the last 2 years have been misleading. We don't call you fake news for nothing. And it's no wonder why a guy in his kitchen on his laptop is getting more viewers than you. Of course, this is something that us normal people have instinctively known and been talking about since the pandemic started. But now that the CDC and Dr. Fauci are finally admitting the obvious, maybe now we could post about it on social media without getting censored.
If you look at the children who are hospitalized, many of them are hospitalized with COVID as opposed to because of COVID. And what we mean by that, if a child goes in the hospital, they automatically get tested for COVID, and they get counted as a COVID hospitalized individual, when in fact they may go in for a broken leg or appendicitis or something like that.
Oftentimes, I'm sure that I'm one of only several dozen Americans who are watching CNN any given night. I watch it so that you don't have to. I do think that it is important to monitor what the enemy propaganda outlets are producing. And on Wednesday, when I tuned in, there was an interview with Bernie Sanders. And I didn't edit this video in any way. I didn't add any special effects or anything like that. This is unedited footage.
Senator Sanders, thanks for being with us. Can you just lay out exactly what you're proposing in this mask legislation?
We have introduced legislation with 15 co-sponsors, which would make sure that N95 masks are distributed to every household in America free of charge.
Free masks now, eh, Bernie? Well, we all have to brush our teeth. Why not free toothpaste? How about some free underwear, too? Actually, I probably shouldn't give them any ideas, because the list of things that the Democrats want to give the American people at the expense of us taxpayers just keeps growing. Like free healthcare for everyone, including illegal aliens. Paid 6 months family leave. Reparations for black people. Free college. $50,000 in student debt forgiven, free tampons in bathrooms, especially the men's bathrooms, gay reparations in the form of a tax deduction for gays. That was a real policy proposed by Elizabeth Warren during her campaign. Ilhan Omar even wants to give people free homes. Oh, you don't believe me? You must be a new subscriber to my channel, because I always have the receipts.
In a few weeks, we are going to introduce our Homes for All legislation, which will hopefully guarantee a home for everyone by investing federal dollars in the creation of millions of homes.
I mean, the list just goes on. Free needles for the heroin addicts and free injection sites free transgender surgery for illegal immigrants, and now free N95 masks. Speaking of the pandemic, however, the Dallas City Council got a very special guest speaker on Wednesday who decided to rap a little ditty to encourage people to get vaccinated.
Okay. Don't wait, don't hesitate. You gotta vaccinate in the Lone Star State. Vaccination is so great. Vaccinate me all day long. Vaccinate your daddy and mom. Vaccinate my body. Vaccinate me at the party. Dr. Fauci, give me that ouchie. I want it in my body. Vaccinate me to go to the party. Omar is back. Vaccinate me white or black.
That went on for almost 4 full minutes, and they didn't kick him out because I'm sure they loved it. And if you thought that he was being serious, that's okay, because liberals are that crazy, and there are hundreds of similar songs online. But in this case, that was prankster and YouTuber Alex Stein. The same guy came to my attention when they first rolled out the mask mandates, and he decided to go to Target wearing a mask, a Zorro mask. I must admit, he is a better rapper than CNN is at doing journalism. Speaking of journalism, however, Project Veritas just released some new documents that they obtained from DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, which further proves that Dr. Fauci lied under oath, committing perjury about not being involved in any gain-of-function research at all. Shortly after they published their report, Project Veritas' Chief of Staff Eric Spracklin was banned from Twitter. You probably recall that last year, both Project Veritas' official account and James O'Keefe's personal account were banned, and of course you can find them all on Getter and Gab. Dr. Fauci's upset that most people don't like or trust him anymore, and complained that Rand Paul has a Fire Dr. Fauci banner on his website. If you ask me, he shouldn't just be fired, he should also be arrested. And if you agree, then order your Arrest Dr. Fauci shirt from my online store at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. Or if that's not your style, order an F. Joe Biden, Wanna Buy a Vowel shirt, or a Let's Go Brandon shirt. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.